Judge rules religious parents can't opt out kids of LGBT lessons. A U.S. District Court dismissed a request by parents in the Montgomery County of Maryland to allow their children to opt out of classes during discussing LGBT books, stating that the use of the storybooks did not cross the line from, quote, permissible influence to potentially impermissible indoctrination. This decision followed the Montgomery County Public Schools announcement that of a more inclusive English and language arts curriculum, which included books such as, well, they're titled Pride Puppy and My Rainbow, sparking a public outcry and concerns about the age appropriateness of the books. While some school principals initially allowed the families to opt out, the Montgomery County Public Schools ended this option in March, leading to a lawsuit by 3 Muslim and Christian families who claimed that their religious freedom was violated. Eric Baxter, vice president of the Becket Fund for Religious Liberty, said, quote, the school board should let kids be kids and let parents decide how and when to best educate their own children consistent with their religious beliefs. Meanwhile, David Fishback of PFLAG, which stands for Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays in Maryland, applauded the decision, saying they would make a difference in the lives of children experiencing depression and loneliness due to their sexual orientation and gender identity. This decision is this is the important part. This decision is a preliminary injunction, and the case is still pending a final decision. So what that means is that because school was about to start really soon, they had to make a kind of a temporary decision before it goes to court for a final decision, right? So basically, because school is about to start, the judge, for the moment, said, no, you can't opt out of this. We'll still go to trial. We'll still, make a full decision. But in the meantime, the preliminary injunction for the school year, because things are time sensitive and they're happening before the trial, is that, no, you can't opt out. He said that, quote, that this did not cross the line from permissible influence to potentially impermissible indoctrination. So I know you probably have a lot of opinions about this, Armin. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, for people to understand how disgusting this is, I invite them often to imagine if this was not about LGBT issues. It was about, black tolerance towards black people. And this was something that was a program in a school that was for children to understand, and there were some parents that wanted to opt out of that. I think more people will understand how disgusting and vile that is. Or if they were trying to teach the children about the discrimination against Jewish people in history. And there were parents who were like, you know what? I don't want my kids to be brainwashed. I want to opt my kids out of that. I think people were like, shut the F up. You should not be allowed to opt your children out of that. I think once you compare it, and the fact that we need to compare it to these other issues, like black tolerance or Jewish people tolerance, for people to understand how disgusting that is, to me shows how behind we are with LGBT stuff, that clarification is needed for people to understand how vile this suggestion even is. Also, when they say, let the parents decide, that sounds nice to a lot of conservative people, but I think a lot of conservative people do not understand how much some parents suck at parenting and making decisions for the children. And specifically because I think they suck as parents, a lot of them. And that's why they don't understand. Okay. We don't let parents decide whether or not children can learn English or math or science. Like it's illegal for a parent to tell the school that, you know what, I want my kids not to learn math. It's against my beliefs. I don't think they need that. You don't let the parents do that. It's forced by law that your kids need to learn that. So once we have established that that is allowed, that there's certain amount of knowledge and skills that the government gets to decide that your children need to learn, because you don't own your children. Unlike what many conservatives think, the parents don't actually own their children. You are the guardians of the children. You're not their owners. The children are citizens of a country, and the government has some responsibility to make sure they are equipped with a certain level of skill set and knowledge for them to be able to function in society. And you, as a parents, can't get in the way of that. Just because they came out of you, just because a child came out of your body, that doesn't mean you get to deny them certain the level of knowledge and skill set that they need, that experts have decided that they need, because you're biologically somehow connected to them. So that it makes no sense. In fact, because they're children, because they're citizens that cannot defend themselves, they require the government to get involved if you are being a crappy parent, especially if you're becoming being a crappy parent. So yeah, yeah. So it makes complete sense. I completely support this. Do you have any views on this? Do you agree with what I'm saying?
I think it's important. Like I was just looking on Amazon to see previews of these children's books. So they are like illustrative children's books, and one of them is about a dog that goes to a pride parade, and like as he's at the pride parade, he's like also teaching the alphabet. And then the other one is
That's
about
adorable.
a transgender girl who her mom helps her make like a wig, a rainbow wig, because she wants to have long hair.
See, we need that. That should be required, because we don't want you to make your kid into a goddamn bigot, right? We want your kid to be able to tolerate other children for a healthier society. So that is required to have a healthier society. And more importantly than that, we don't want your trans or gay kid to feel disgusted, to feel shame, to feel less than other kids because of your ideology. We don't care that you are the parent. You don't get to abuse your child with shame just because they are your kid. We want to teach them in school that they're okay the way they are. That is what is required. How I do understand that some progressives and some schools take this way too far and expose kids to things that the kids should not be exposed to. I completely
Yeah,
understand, but you
I'm on
also have
board.
to understand, yes, that is not okay. Those should be found and should be shut down. However, you have to understand that those cases are used by conservatives to try to dismiss the entirety, the utility of this program, of these kinds of teachings. Having a little puppy, having a kid's book that shows, hey, look, two male penguins are raising an egg, for you to normalize a family that has two fathers.
And also
That
just teach
is
them about
not
nature. Like that is just
nature.
genuinely something that happens in nature.
Yeah, that's adorable. Having two prince in a story, two princesses or two princes in a story fall in love with each other and have a journey with each other, right? That is harmless and adorable, and teaches and normalizes this kind of this type of relationship. Okay, that is, you cannot dismiss that, the utility of that, if all of a sudden somewhere, I don't know, they have somebody that comes to a class and just shows like I can't, things that I can't even say on YouTube to children. Okay, shut that down. Don't shut the rest of this down. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think as much as there are like excesses within the LGBT movement, especially lately, um people need to understand that yeah, there might be excesses or things that are inappropriate, and that I as a member of the LGBT community, I do not even stand behind or excuse or justify or defend. Um on the other side, there are people that want us chemically castrated or dead. So,
Right. 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 Exactly. Those are one of them is bad. One of them is genocidal. Um.
and I'm
Exactly.
not saying I'm not
Uh.
going to be one of those people that says that everyone that throws up a red flag for something that's a little weird is one of those people. I'm not
No.
that delusional. I'm not going to
Yes.
paint everyone with that broad brush, right?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I think everyone can understand the difficult position it puts me in particular in as an LGBT person that grew up in a family that wasn't accepting, that grew up in a family that would not allow me to have information like this. When I'm like, no, this is important. This would have made a huge difference in my life when I was growing up.
Mm,
Like, because
right.
if the parents don't educate their children about this, the world will, and it won't be in a way that's appropriate. They'll be exposed, or they'll go seek out information in ways that are not appropriate whatsoever. So
Right.
you might not like it, but this is ultimately less harmful.
Right. So we got a super chat from Sid. Sid is asking, "What do you?" Thank you so much for the super chat, Sid. Sid is asking, "What do you think about groups like LGBT for Palestine? Are these people not aware what will happen to them in a hypothetical Palestinian state?" I
No,
mean, I understand, but
I
that's
don't
the
think
whole
they
point,
are.
though. Wait, why would that be an issue? Isn't that the point of having a group like LGBT for Palestine, to try to fight against that
No, 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 no.
hypothetical?
He's referring to LGBT and people in the queer community that are super anti-Israel, that are super pro-Palestine in a very uncritical way, not being
Oh, okay.
aware of the attitudes towards the
Oh,
LGBT
I
community
complete.
by most Palestinians living in Gaza and the West Bank.
Okay,
I'm saying
I
most,
thought
not
you're
all. Let me be
talking.
clear, but let's be honest about these opinions.
Okay, I thought you're talking about people who are saying we want LGBT for Palestine, like we want LGBT rights in Palestine. I thought that's the group.
Based.
You're
No,
saying
no,
people
the
were.
opposite.
That would be amazing. That would be like we need like a group that is like we need LGBT rights in Palestine. That would be an
There are
amazing thing.
people like
So
that,
no,
but that's not what he's
yes,
talking
there
about.
are. Yeah, yeah. So he's talking about people who are LGBT and support Palestine. Okay, to be fair, Susie, I want to as much as you're right about these people probably don't understand how anti-LGBT most Palestinians are, I am. It's okay to be pro-Palestine. I am pro-Palestine. I am pro-Palestine, and I am pro-Israel. Okay,
You're
pro-Palestine.
so Zionist, and you're like, I'm pro-Palestine. It's funny to me. I know that it would.
I mean,
I know your position, but other people are like, what are
I'm
you
pro
talking
every.
about?
I'm pro every country. Okay, why I am pro every country because there are people who live there. I want the best for every country, including Palestine and Israel. Like, I don't. If I am anti-Hamas, if I'm anti-religious extremism, if I'm anti this idiots in Palestine that are making Palestinian lives miserable, is because I am for Palestine because this is what for example, when we criticize things that are happening in India, it's because we are pro India. If we're criticizing bad things that are happening in Pakistan, because we are pro Pakistan. If we highlight all this insanity that is happening in Palestine with people with really extreme views, is because we want Palestine to be a better place for Palestinians. So don't be anti-Palestine because you want to support Israel. In fact, be for Palestine because you want to support Israel. A better Palestine is a Palestine is less harmful to Israel. A better Israel is an Israel. Be pro-Israel because you're for Palestine. A better Israel is an Israel that can support the economy of Palestine, have trade with Palestine. Anyways, so being for Palestine is also in the best interest of Israel, and being pro-Israel is at the same time in the best interest of Palestine. So that was my response to that super chat. And also, um,
No, but the
Nick.
question is really getting at: isn't there a
Yes,
hypocrisy with
yes,
LGBT people supporting
yes.
Palestine, or like how to what
I
extent are they actually aware of how
I agree
they would
with
be
that.
viewed and treated?
No, no. That's why I agreed with that. I just wanted to be like, yes, I understand the hypocrisy and the lack of awareness there. However, I also wanted to use it as an opportunity to say there's nothing wrong with being pro-Palestine.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, I
I
agree.
just yeah,
Of course.
yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Okay, and Sid is saying if Palestine does become a country, it should only be allowed if it will be a secular democracy, not not a good idea to have a Taliban like Palestine. Um, well, there's so much. There's so much. I'm not going to open that can of worms, okay? But I just want to say that I don't see how that's going to happen right now, Okay, unfortunately, this two-state solution seems to be completely blocked because of Israel. Unfortunately, because of all the settlement, because of all the illegal settlements of Israel in the West Bank, this seems like the two-state solution seems to be almost impossible right now. So there's that. Oh, okay. And another reincarnation entertainment. Thank you for the super chat saying, "Are you guys open to borders? Guys, open. Oh, are you guys open borders? Or in favor of open borders? Are you? I think you're saying people could escape hardship more easily, and how can you harm someone for going from one piece of land to another? Okay,
I'm
I'm
not
in
for open
favor
borders.
of.
I used to be.
Yeah,
Freaking
I am not
anarchist
for.
who
No,
wanted to abolish all borders. It's insane.
yeah, no, I'm in favor of borders being more open, but not to be eliminated. I'm in favor of people being able to people and products and services to be able to cross borders with less taxes and less barriers. Okay, that's what I'm in favor of. But borders have utility. You cannot manage the world without borders. So I am in favor of having borders, but also easier way for goods and people to cross them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
And
need
also,
we need security. We need to
yes.
have security against the
W-
people that
s-
would harm us.
and management. I mean, you
Hmm.
if even if you want to manage a city, you cut them into pieces, into sections, into, so you have to have, you need to, for better management, people need know who represents them, and different areas require people to choose their own representative. So that's why you need to
Hmm.
cross the
But
cut the land
I
pieces.
don't want people to have to risk their own lives in the way that they do on a daily basis, millions of people every single day, risking
Right.
life and limb to try to just seek refuge. I also find that unacceptable.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I've seen firsthand, the links and people go to and see how some people I really love were really, really harmed by that. But we can't get rid of,
Yes.
we can't
But
abolish all borders.
even even in a hypothetical idealistic world where we don't have any security issues, and we don't have terrorists, and people are not killing each other, we will still need borders. Okay, because you need to section off the land and be like, okay, you manage this part, we manage this part. The people around this area will choose who's managing this part, and people around this area will choose who's managing this part. We will always need borders. Okay.
It's much more efficient.
uh yes. Okay.
This comment made
Also.
me laugh so hard. It was about me talking
Re-
about your clapping. Nicholas is saying she don't like chop. She don't like top G clapping that way. She want you to do it more feminine. You know what?
yes.
You're right, King. You clap how you want to clap, okay? Don't let me feminize you into some soy boy.
Hey, do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.